Hi, I'm Scott Starratt with Starratt Wealth Management, a part of Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. So November was another very interesting month for markets as the US election was held. And I think one of the biggest concerns that a lot of people had before going into this election down south was the idea if it was going to be a contested election or not, whether it was too close to call. And that, if it looked like Trump was going to lose, may have created a lot of drama between the election day and January 20th when the president has to be inaugurated. As it turns out, Trump won handily. He actually, I think, won the popular vote as well. So, there wasn't too much of a question as to who won the election. And markets took that quite positively. Month of November was a very strong month for markets, predominantly through, again, the fact that it wasn't a contested election, as well as the fact that, there's a lot of optimism for Trump as far as the equity markets go. Some of the things that he wants to do could be a real positive. Some of the things, however, are negative. And so that's where we sit right now. We're back to the situation where I think a lot of people are very uncertain as to what will happen. You know, um, I think this is my 30 next year will be my 33rd year kind of doing this. And one of the things I've learned is that, when everybody gets complacent and says, well, everything's stable, nothing can go wrong, usually that means something goes wrong. It's not that I'm predicting anything to go wrong. It's just the last couple of years have been a very good year after a very negative 2022. And, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. There's global uncertainty with how Ukraine and Russia and the Middle East will turn out. There's other things that can happen at any point. As I'm recording this, South Korea, out of nowhere, it appears, has an issue that may or may not be solved fast. So, that uncertainty has definitely led, I think, to a lot of people feeling that maybe it's just time to take a breather here and whether I don't know if I'd call them become more defensive as much as maybe take some profits and just enjoy the last couple of years' returns and see if we can protect the portfolios. So that's what we're in the middle of doing right now as we're approaching our year-end activities, making sure people's tax bills aren't that high and doing what we can to reduce them. We're also taking the opportunity to reduce exposure to equities and portfolios and moving back into a little bit more of a defensive slant. Again, not making a huge change that would, if the markets continue to do well, will help the market or will hurt the portfolios. But, we're in a scenario now where it's probably good, like I said, to be on the safe side. Um, the biggest thing I think going forward is going to be the discussion around tariffs and inflation. I think that's going to be a big 2025 issue. If the Trump administration does issue the tariffs that they're talking about, what effect will that have on US inflation? Because of course, as a tariff comes in, the seller of the good typically is going to increase the price as much as they can in order to get the money back that they're having to pay in tariffs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And, I think the administration wants to cut taxes to balance that out. But, only time will tell what they're able to get through and what it looks like for the equity markets. Interest rates, similarly, appear to be quite stable at this point, although they're probably trending slightly down. They may not be aggressively cut as much as people thought in the US. Canada's a different story, but in the US, because of this uncertainty around inflation coming back. So we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, like I said, we're actively reaching out to everyone, just making sure that everything looks good for the end of the year. Any last minute issues that have to be dealt with, but everything looks really, really positive. If there are any questions that anybody does have regarding tax or planning or anything like that, please do not hesitate to chat with myself, Jim, Angela, or Alex. And other than that, I really wanted to take the opportunity to wish everyone a very happy holiday season and a great new year. And we'll be back to talking to you in 2025.